All right, I'm scanning the screen. I'm scanning the chat. I'm not seeing any questions yet. If you think of one, you can always throw it in the chat or mention it later. For now, we'll go ahead and move on. I want to invite our instructional designer, Jamie Warren, to take the stage. He is going to be talking us through running a tight ship, advanced tips for MyCourses. Jamie, you are welcome to share your screen whenever you are ready.
Okay, is everyone seeing this? Everyone seeing me okay? And hearing me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Thanks, Sarah, and thanks everyone for being here. Today, got to say I really dropped the ball on the whole cruise theme. As far as this, there's not a lot of unification in my presentation, except for this image, and I'm not sure the ship is coming or going. So, and that's the way I feel every day sometimes. Um, so anyway, except for that nice icon. So let's just jump into it. So with this, this link is live on the web. So I will get I'll get the URL to put that in the chat, and um, so you can access that anytime. There's also a QR code at the bottom of this document. So I would jump in, and I'll say this is an advanced course, sort of, but we certainly don't have to keep it there. These the objectives today, I've got a plan, but if we kind of get off track, if there's something that you just need to know about, it is very likely that someone else in this chat is wondering the same thing, or maybe there's something you've discovered. We're all playing from the same book here. So really, I'm going to try not to overwhelm you, but if I do say, hey, pump the brakes a second, let's slow down and maybe do that again. So I'll just jump in to these particular tips. So again, I'll say right off none of these are required for you to actually do. These are just some quality added things that you can do for your students, and some other things that you can do, sort of be nice, to be kind to future you. We have about 10 days or so before the semester starts. So each of these things is an action that you can take today or an hour from now or whatever. And even right now, if you have two screens and you have your LMS open, I'll be walking you through this. I'll be kind of tabbing through the browser in this. So I'll go ahead and get started with the first one. And again, like I said before, some of you may know some of the topics in here, but I'm going to go ahead and cover it in some detail if I can. So let's get on to restricted access. This is one of those. It's kind of it's a function in the LMS that allows you to completely stop a student, and you can apply logic to a certain scenario, so that you control either when or for whom that activity is released or visible. Our main case at Blue Ridge is going to be the syllabus confirmation quiz. If you've ever taught before, the students have to prove that they took an action in the course, and it has to happen within well, it's like the first week or the first 2 weeks or something. But basically, if they don't, all this, if they don't do that, they have to be dropped. And a lot of teachers will restrict access to the other modules until that happens. So I'll show you kind of what it looks like. So here I've got a master course that I've been working on. So right now you can see that it is not available. So I'll show you how I got there. Let's go down to, so in this header image, we can go to Edit Summary. And this is where you can add module images in your objectives or in introduction. So on the right-hand column, you only have one option. So I'll just delete this and start over here. So we want to add restriction. And so here where you see the logic that you can apply, since the confirmation quiz is an activity and it has to be completed, we want to use this one. And this is by and large the one that you're going to use the most. So we set the activity completion. In this drop-down, we have a list of all the activities in your course. We want to come check that. This should be fairly intuitive. You mark complete, must be complete with a pass grade, so that they have to actually pass the confirmation quiz. And if you want to add another restriction, you can do that here. Otherwise, just save your changes, and it's going to look about the same. So the restricted access is kind of a cool thing. If you want to get really fancy with saying, well, okay, in order to unlock this activity, you have to, get an A in another activity, or really the dates and the grades and the activity completion are probably the ones. I don't know of any teachers who are using like advanced, like nested logic. If they're out there, um, I'd love to learn from them. They probably don't need our help if they're applying advanced logic. So um, anyway, I'll kind of wait for someone to speak up if they have ever done that. Um, so again, with this document, I have videos that will take you through all this at the very bottom of this document. So if you don't get some of the steps that I'm talking about, you can go look at this later. So, um, and again, I'm keeping an eye on the chat, and if you have any questions, just please, say pump the brakes or go back and do that again. So, one thing Jennifer was talking about, and I loved some of the things that she was saying about putting yourself in the course and making it as much of your own as you can. And I think to the end game, that's really what all this is about, isn't it? I mean, we're just trying to make things use some of the automation that exists in the LMS and some of the tools that we have. And timed announcements is a really good one for if you have multiple announcements, if you do several per week, or if you just want to kind of plan it out through the semester. This is something that you can do all at once. Um, and so I'll walk you through this as well. So let me go back into my master, and generally in the course home. Now, the announcements at their very core is that it's a discussion forum, but the way it functions is it's only one way. So the students can't they can't reply to them. So when you post an announcement or discussion topic, as it's called in the LMS here, you put your subject and message here, and then clicking advanced, it's going to bring up these options about setting a calendar date. And when that is enabled, the iPhone, I don't know what I'm saying iPhone for, I'm sorry. It's been a long week. So when you click enable, that it's not going to be visible to the student until that date. And the same with the display end, that it won't be visible. So really handy thing to do. You could just crank out like 10, 12 announcements. But if you didn't kind of want to look ahead that far, there's something that you could do. Say you have an assignment date that is changed, and you want to send an announcement out to announce that change. Well, you could actually time an announcement to where there's one that comes out before the day it's due, and it's kind of like, okay, let's just take care of this communication. I know there's such thing as too many announcements, and you don't want to overwhelm your students with emails because they're just going to not read them. But again, this is really up to your preference. I just want to show you what the potential is and what the possibilities are here. Yeah, so just speaking of communication and module visibility, I want to get into some of these functions up here at the top because they are super handy. So you've likely seen these before, but in your course, to the just to the right of your table of contents. Okay, not on course home, but like getting started and all the other modules. You're going to see these icons here. So this the move, of course, moves the entire module. The eyeball here will hide the module. So I'm going to kind of suggest a routine of what you do each week that will help you and your students to make sure you're all seeing the same thing. As far as when a module opens, okay, you can set a lot of teachers will hide all the modules except for the one that they're currently on, and that's a really good strategy teaching wise because it doesn't allow the students to really look ahead and become distracted by what's coming in the course. So hiding the module is not quite I guess that's the heavy lift as restricting the access. So then it's a lot easier to hide and show a module rather than to remove the restricted access logic and everything. So that's something you can do. So say it's Thursday, the new module opens on Friday. So you would go in and say module 1 is open through your announcement, and you would show it. And the last thing you can do in these 3 dots, also called a kebab, you can go down and highlight this, and what that will do, see that now there's a green dot. When the student logs into the course and they click your course card, when a module is highlighted, it will take them directly there just by default. So it's a great thing for them to keep their place. So as Jennifer was talking about, keep helping them keep their progress. The highlighting is something that is a really easy win right there. So make sure you're doing that.
Hey, Jim, I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there anything wrong with re-hiding a module once we're done with it? Can we do that? Can we hide the module back once we're done teaching it?
I don't see any reason that that would be a problem. If you had assignments and quizzes that have closed and forums that might have already been graded, um, as long as it's highlighted and the students knows where they are, I really I think it's just up to the teacher. A lot of some people really like to
Yeah.
minimize the clutter and they see the course kind of as an extension of their own organization. So I think it would just be a visual preference.
I think we've had some problems in the past. If somebody rehides something though, it disappears from the student's grade book. So any assignments, remember we've had that happen before with some teachers. So if it's, once the student does assignments, if there are assignments in the module, even if they're closed, I don't think we can rehide because of the grade book.
Okay, well, yeah, and that's always a, a strange sea to swim in about what's going to happen with the grade book, and
Yeah,
it's hard to tell what's exactly going to happen there. So yeah,
maybe just hide it until we get to it and then leave it visible after
and then
that.
leave it visible. Yeah,
Okay.
um, yeah, that works for me. So I think that's. Let me check my list here. Okay, I think that was it for module visibility. Any other questions? Okay, yeah, that's fairly straight ahead. And move on to user overrides. Now, this is kind of a big one. We had a lot of good discussion last night at the in-person session about this and the ways that, I'm sure one of you in your courses are going to get some kind of accommodation from Carolyn's office, whether the student needs more time or uh, whatever it might be. So there's quite a few ways that you can do that. It only works in certain activities though. So this may not be a complete list, but I know the quizzes, assignments, and the lessons all have that override ability. So where you can set conditions for individual students. Let me jump into back into the test course here. Um, Now, I'll try to bring out some new interface changes as well. If you haven't looked around, there's a new menu here on the right. And one thing that's cool about this little block tower, it's called the toggle drawer, or what's it called? Toggle block drawer. Yeah, that's cool. All right, whatever. So it actually will show you what the information was on your course dashboard previously. So you can look at all the assignments, everything that you have in one list here from that toggle block drawer. So if I look at my assignments, I can go and I see all the list there. And so I'll go into an assignment. And from here, from the instructions, I can go over to the admin gear and then select override. And we add user override. And then it will, from the course list here, we'll give a list of our courses. Donald Duck, he's a terrible student. So he's always needing something. So I'll allow submissions, and you set this per activity. So as far as I know, there's not a way to do this in bulk and assign everything. But so you have to do this especially for whoever that's accommodating. And if I'm wrong about that, feel free to hop in, correct me. But anyway, you set your conditions here, and then you can save and enter another one for a different student, or just save and continue. So. Um, so that can be a handy thing. Again, if you have a student who needs an accommodation and you're just not sure how to really add the strategy for how you should present your activities and content, then let us know. We try to come up with strategies, and that's one thing we do in teaching and learning. So I'll go ahead and move on. These user overrides are kind of neat. Okay, all right. We'll move on. Okay, so gradebook aggregation position. So this is just a fancy way of saying the course total is going to be at the beginning instead of the end. So I'll hop over there and show you how to do that. So from your course, you want to go into gradebook setup. All right, and go here to grader report. All right, we circle back over to the admin gear, and you see our menu has changed. So now we have grade administration and course administration. So pay attention to those menus. One of them is global, the other is contextual. So course administration is always there. But if you're like in the grade book, this will say grade administration. So just pay attention to that. So we go down to setup, and we go down to preferences, grade report. And I believe this one has already been changed, but by default, it will say report default last. And so you just want to change that to first, save changes. And so when we go back to our grader report, this is going to be the first thing you see. And that's just a convenience thing, really. If you want to see how a student's doing, after you start really adding some things into your course, this is a real hassle getting through this entire database. And we work with chemistry courses, which have upwards of 200 to 300 things, activities. This could be a very long database. So it's just a little thing that you can do to make your life easier in the beginning. So we highly recommend that. Yeah, any questions about that? All right, cool. Nice. Okay, yeah, and the instructions are right there if you need to watch that. So, reports. Okay, this one got spicy last night. So, because I had some people who have tried this with varying levels of success. So I will say this, yes, with a caveat of sometimes they work, sometimes they really don't. I can't really say for sure, but it's an important thing. The problem we had last night was the chemistry teacher again. He had so much stuff in his course that the assignments and the activities really wouldn't load, and it ended up crashing the page. So I had this in the presentation. I'm going to go through and I'll show you where it is anyway, because it can be a handy thing if you're trying to set dates all at once. In the course. So those of you who have had a course imported for you, if you go to the admin gear in reports and click dates, and hopefully this won't crash on me. It did last night. So we have this. Okay. All right. So it's thinking. So this was the problem we had last night. So ideally, okay, theoretically, what's supposed to happen here is this will list all of your activities, and then you have drop downs to where you can set the dates for each of those. Yeah, see, it's um, well, here's where I need my elevator music. All right, so we're crashing. So the reports is a good idea, but given the behavior last night, it may not be. The idea is that you can set all your course dates at one time through that report. The other one, which behaved a lot better last night, was the activity completion. And this really visually, this gives you a nice graph of each of your students and what they've done in the course. So if you go to reports and then activity completion, then you can see that Donald really hasn't done a whole lot in this course, and your whole roster will be there. So it's a really good thing of seeing, okay, I have like 8 students who haven't responded to this particular forum, and this is just a good report to see that with, to visually see it. Okay, what else do I have? Aggregation reports, activity completion. Okay, that's it for what I have. I think I'm ahead of schedule, maybe behind. I'm not real sure. So I will open it up for questions. If there's anything I need to, circle back with, I'm happy to do that. But yeah, just let the questions fly. If there's anything that you may know, Jennifer did. Before I forget, Jennifer did mention earlier about showing the student view. Uh, Again, super handy tool. So in the admin gear, you're going to find course administration and go down to the switch role to, and here's where you select the student. So if I were to Okay, so here's an example. I hid module two while as an instructor, and all of a sudden, see now you can't see module two between those two. So it actually works. So we're seeing things as a student would see them. So and so you go to your profile and return to my normal role. Yeah, yeah. Just to kind of extend on one thing that Jennifer was talking about with the notifications and how do you show progress in your class. I will say if you go to your profile and you go over to preferences, you can look at your notification preferences. And so this will basically show you all the ways that you're notified and the way the students are notified. Discussion forums or announcements are what you call a forced subscription. They're locked on. You have some utility here to change your notification preferences. The activity stream is like the live feed in your course. It's where it has your calendar and it has a lot of these other functions that these assignments needed to be graded by this something like that. So it's a live feed. The web that's actually going to give more of the social media a notification up there. So that's where the web will show up. Email, of course, is your email and mobile. Just the thing about the mobile app is it's built by OpenLMS and it does kind of function as students can look at their assignment but we don't recommend that they do any activities on the OpenLMS app, mainly just because we really can't control their experience on that. And if something crashes or if it breaks, if they're taking a quiz or something, there's a lot of variables there. So uh, we don't recommend they're actually completing activities on the phone or any mobile device. So um, I am that's all I have. So I have we any are there any questions or anything else that we want to add? Happy to come back.
Jamie, this is Ashley. I have a quick question.
Mhm.
Would you mind sharing? I think y'all have like a instruction page on how to do the bulk change. I think that might be useful for some of my folks because they're just getting access. And so if they could like bulk change their due dates, that would be
Mhm.
helpful.
That was the dates report that we were just trying to.
Right, but I'm saying I think y'all already have like an instruction thing on that.
Uh, I'll have
Like,
to look. I have to look for that. Well, it may be in here in this resource guide.
Okay.
Is that maybe where you found it? I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, I just thought somebody sent something to me at one point, but if not, I can look
Yeah.
around as well.
And I'll tell you, so Carol actually asked this question earlier this week. There was a release in Moodle 4.3 or 4.2, 4.3, where bulk edit was added as a feature. And OpenLMS decided to skip over it and did not enable it for Snap. So I just actually gave Carol that information overall, like just bulk edit feature in general. The reports bulk change for dates is like the one thing that we have found that's been really useful. And it's been working really, really well. But we just had an upgrade on, what was it, Wednesday? And so I'm wondering if this is tied to the upgrade. So I'm going to create a help desk ticket because it was working earlier this week. Like I
Mhm.
was in there and didn't have any crashing happening.
Yeah, and it may be that I clicked this drop down and it just tried to load everything at one time. The what I really wanted to show there were the accordions. So when you have something that's in your course, like these would show up.
There's no due dates on any of that stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, so we're in the resource guide. So it seems to be working okay now. So say you had an assignment here when you there's one. So that's you can set the dates here. Um, maybe you just tread lightly. I think I get in a hurry with the LMS, and sometimes that's not the right move because it doesn't care how much of in a hurry you are to do things if you're importing or doing something like this. So a little patience is always good with the LMS. A little, not a lot, not too much. So I hope that answers your question. This I, in theory, this is a great tool. But again, last night I heard some feedback that it's just it does tend to crash. So it is what it is.
Any other questions? Randy, I don't even know if I understand what you mean. You want to take yourself off mute?
Okay, you can also go in there and instead of going to each assignment and saying you need to change the points on something that's in there, you don't have it correct, or you need to change it to something else, you can go where he just went into the folders area there. And instead of setting the due dates, which is great, you can also go in and select each one of the assignments and adjust the points as you need it, instead of going into the course, having to go locate that particular assignment and adjusting the points. Because it'll have a hyperlink and it will open in a new window, and you can actually adjust the points from there. So if you had multiples in, say, week 1 or module 1 or week 2 or module 2, you could do several different ones instead of going to each one in each module for each assignment.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're talking about this way going into the assignment and then settings. And
Yeah, where you were at previously with setting the due dates, you can also go where you were to set the point value instead of each individual assignment itself.
Okay, in the reports.
In the reports, yes.
Okay, gotcha. All right, thanks. That was dates
So if you
again.
go to reports, you can actually see where all the assignments are for each module or week, ever how you have your setup. And you can actually go in and change the point value there instead of having to hunt it down and wherever it's located and go in. It's a lot quicker that way.
Okay. Randy, which one was that option in? Was that activity?
That was under folders as well, where you were just previously, just a few moments ago.
Randy, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it on my screen and I'm not seeing any ability to go into the points. All that we're seeing, is that something you guys can do at McDowell?
Okay, so I'm going into my course, and whenever I go into let me just pick one from here.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to go in, I'm going to go over to the cogwheel, then I'm going to go in and pick reports, and then I'll go from reports down to dates.
Yeah.
And then when you get to dates, of course, you have everything listed, depending on whether it's weeks or modules or however how you have your course laid out. This takes a minute to load, and the more you have, the longer it takes to load this. So mine's going to take a second because I got a lot of content in this one. But once it gets loaded,
You're welcome to share your screen.
let's see. Hang on just a sec. Let me get back where you're at.
We love learning from other people.
Okay, I'm back. I think I'm back. Let's see if I got back over there. Yeah. So, now I've lost my place. There we go. I've got so many tabs open in different things. So I am in that one, so I'll just go ahead and do a share. And this should be coming up in this class. Can you see mine now? You see where I'm located here?
Yep.
Okay, and you see where he was at before?
Mhm.
Okay, so let's say I wanted to go to, let's say, chapter 3.
Mhm.
Then you see right here is all the assignments that's in there, right? You got the dates there, but you also have all the assignments there. See?
Yeah.
So if I say I wanted to go to a quiz, so this quiz here, say, oh, I probably got the points wrong. Well, I open this, it opens in a new window, and I've got to move this because I can't see you anymore. But anyway, you just click on grade, and you see you can change the grade right here.
Oh,
So just
okay.
clicking that add restricted access option gives you access to all the settings. So that's cool. It's a nice little back door.
Yeah, so whenever you're done with this, you don't have to actually, worry about it because this is a separate window. See over here, once you change it, it'll change it for you. You can just get rid of that and say, oh, I need to go. Oh, I need to go to this one here and change that or whatever.
Nice.
Okay, I want to go that grade and change it to something else. And then close the tab again, and then you're back out again.
Love it.
So you can do all that here,
Yeah. Yeah, well, and you know, for those of us who don't click on things unless we are absolutely sure of what we're doing, clicking on something that says add restricted access doesn't immediately translate to all the settings. So thank you.
Yeah, I just thought that was a little bit handy because it does have all of your, all of your material here. This one here I have in chapters because I do mine, some of them in chapters, and some of them about weeks. It'll say like week it starts here and whatever, have the due date here.
Sure.
It just depends on the course I'm working in. And this is actually from McDowell, so it'll look a little bit different. They have a different theme than you guys do.
Yeah, but I will confirm, when I can share my screen. I'm taking
Okay. Okay, let me get out of there. Stop sharing. Okay. Okay, I'm out.
So you should be seeing my screen now, and I'm in somebody's interpersonal communications.
Yeah, okay.
Jumped in, and we have that same option. So we click down here where it says add restricted access, which this is like a little hot tip because it doesn't make any sense that would go to all.
I know it doesn't, but if you click on it, you can go over and you see grades there and you
right in.
Yeah, and you can change the grade or set a grade or
Yeah.
whatever you want. Normally what I'll do is I'll set the grade and then I'll take 60% of that, and that's what you need to pass. So
Yeah.
they'll know, and it'll be green when they go in and look at the grade book. It'll be green, right? As
Yeah.
opposed to red or whatever. So that's handy. This will be handy.
Yeah. Well, that's super helpful. Thank you so much, Randy. We appreciate that tip. Does anybody have any other questions for Jamie or for the community at large about things that are happening in my courses that you'd like access to? And Brett, I see your comment in the chat, and I will get right on that. Thank you. Okay, well, Jamie, thanks again so much for spending some time with us and walking us through how we can use those tools to make our course experience a little smoother and hopefully more efficient for ourselves and better for our students.